Hey guys, gonna do a quick video update just on some of my cross stitch and just life in general. I guess I should start off with a cross stitch. That way if you don't want to hear the rest of the rambling, you can turn it off. I started a new group, or I didn't start the group. I joined a new group, a small group on Youku, I believe. And there aren't a lot of people in it. I don't know that it's really, I just kind of found it by accident. But on that group, every month they list their goals for that month. And they will look back the next month and see if they made those goals. Generally it's stitchy goals, but you can really do any goals, you know, if you want to have reorganized your bathroom or whatever. My goals this month were, of course, I've only really worked on 3 projects this month. My stocking, my woodland sampler, and my the verse with my coworker. Just because those are the things that, like, the stocking and the verse are things that I need to be done by December. And of course, I've got the gift from my dad that I need to be done, but I'm actually having to, yet again, completely restart it. Where I was off on the, apparently on the little swirly around the pattern, around the big box, which is a simple pattern, and maybe that's why I made a mistake. It's also my first time stitching on the Black Aida, so I don't know if it was not seeing it well, or if it was just because I thought it was too simple and, you know, really wasn't paying attention. But I apparently missed the box, which made me go, oddly enough, the way the pattern is, instead of me just missing one box, instead of it just making me be in line off, I was actually a line short and a line short both ways, vertically and horizontally. It's kind of hard to explain if you don't know, that you can't see the pattern, and I've already unpicked it, so I can't show it to you. I actually even had to order new fabric for it because I'm using the very fine Kreinik braid for the metallics in it. And it had stretched the holes of the Aida out. Looks great on the fabric, but when I unpicked, it's very unforgiving because it has actually stretched the holes of the Aida out, and you could tell where I had unpicked it. But I went to bonanza.com, and I go to a store that Jellicles, I believe that's how you pronounce your name, Jellicles Forever, had mentioned in one of her videos. It's Crazy Annie's Cross Stitching, or Crazy Annie Stitching, and I ordered a new piece of fabric. Let me just say, I absolutely love that little store. I think it's going to be my new LNS, even though she's all the way in Illinois. She's got great prices. Most of her prices are already reduced from normal retail pricing. And then she even has a clearance section. And then on top of that, she actually calculates your shipping based on what you order, instead of just slapping a, you know, all over shipping price on it. Currently, right now, is the biggest shipping charge I've had, and it's like $2.59. And it's a kit and then a piece of fabric that I got. So I had to start that over, and because I want that to be perfect, because it's for my dad, you know, and I know that it's a Masonic emblem, and I know that he'd already kind of mentioned me doing a Masonic emblem for me, so I'm really hoping it'll mean a lot to him, so I want it to be perfect, you know. Things for me, I can kind of fudge a little if I miss a stitch here, miss a stitch there, but that, you know, it's gotta be perfect. I guess I'll start with the woodland sampler progress. Wow, I can't talk today. Here that is. It's this little skunk this month. I had a lot better time stitching this one this month. Again, it wasn't the fabric or the project, it was just this month I did a lot better as far as not messing up. I didn't have to frog the whole thing, or almost frog the whole thing. I really enjoyed the little skunk and the mushrooms. It went by really quick. I'm really, really excited about this month, September. It's hedgehogs and some beautiful fall leaves, and it is going to be so cute. I can't wait to stitch that one. But there's my woodland sampler progress so far. This is the verse for the coworker, and I don't know if it's because why I'm stitching it. Like, I want to stitch it for her by all means. But every time I pick it up, obviously all I can think of is her daughter. And then I kind of, I don't know, I just get disheartened. Or if it's because of the fact that I've already had this completely, I mean, down to like 4 boxes down here in the corner. And it wasn't even the words. I think it was just like the design, just a little design on it. done, and then I had to stop and restart it because it got ruined. I'm gonna sit down, I believe tonight. My husband wants me to watch the new version of Fright Night. I'll stitch with him while I watch it. But I'm apparently gonna see Colin Farrell as a vampire, which is gonna be good. I hope. Anyway, I'm gonna sit down with that tonight, the old one. And I'm gonna actually try, because this pattern, I have two patterns of this. The one that's just the wording, and then the one that actually has a completely stitched background. And what I'm going to do, and the background is oddly enough like big blocks of the same color. So I'm hoping that if I may be able to stitch, this is all just constant. Just, you'll start with one color. It's not that it's confetti, I wouldn't call it, because there's at least like 4 or 5 stitches of it. And I don't want to complain about the confetti in it, because first of all, it's a customized chart, and it's great. It's beautiful, it's easy to see, but it adds so much to the depth of the letters when you get the finished project. Like, it is crazy how much just the shading adds in to the letters once it's all done. I think I've showed it the other one in the videos before and showed the stains and stuff. But so I don't want to complain about the confetti. But as far as it being something that I'm already having a hard time stitching, and then I'm having to change out, you know, threads every 3 or 4 stitches, it's just taking so long. So I'm hoping that if I do the background on it, that it'll cover up the ink and cover up the grid lines. And then I'll be able to just give her that and then stitch the background and frame it. And then I'll be done a lot quicker than doing, you know, redoing the wording. And then again, save this for me, because I originally was going to do this for me. Still am going to do it for me. But then when that happened with her, I thought that she would enjoy it. I love the saying. It says, because someone we love is in heaven, there's a little bit of heaven in our home. And I just thought that would, you know, she would not enjoy it, but, you know, it would mean something to her too, like it does to me. I then have my son's stocking. Again, this is the first time I've worked on linen. This is probably what I've worked on the most this month. I am loving stitching on linen. I never thought I would, but I am absolutely positively loving the linen. I've decided, instead of me putting together the stocking, since I cannot sew, sewing is not at all one of my capabilities, I think that eventually if I could sit down with somebody and have somebody teach me, that I would enjoy it. I did knit some curtains for our little side panels on our door. They were very forgiving. They weren't like any straight lines in the pattern. They were actually just like leaves, green and leaves. And it was just a simple, you know, over the rod and, you know, hem and over the rod and sew, the little curtain rod thing, and that was it. You can't tell if it's crooked. You can't even see the stitches. I got a very close, similar color to the fabric itself. And they came out pretty good. When it comes to sewing a straight line, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know if I'm not feeding fast enough, trying too hard to feed. It's definitely me. It's, you know, because other people can sew straight, so it's definitely something that I'm doing wrong. I just don't know what it is. So because of that, I don't want to ruin his stocking. So especially after I work so hard on it, I want his to be perfect. So I've got a coworker who her mom sews like everything. Like she's even sewn my coworker's pregnant, and her mom's sewn her like some bed sheets for her daughter. She's so crafty when it comes to the sewing machine. So once I finish this, her mom's actually going to sew it into the stocking for me. She told me to pick out the fabric and stuff and bring it to her, and she'd take it to her mom, and her mom would make the stocking for me. I'm doing that because I don't want his to be messed up. I don't want his to have errors in it here and there. I want it to last. I want it to be done right. I want it to last. I kind of struggled for a while there saying that, and that wasn't me making it, but all she's really doing is putting it together. I'm the one that's stitching the actual design. So I'm gonna be okay with that, and I'm gonna let go of that control on that part and just say, let her do it to where it will be done right. But here's the progress so far. Santa's complete, and I've got 2 of the little train cars started, or choo-choo as my son so affectionately calls them. Kind of get a version of parking here going on, but not really. I just wasn't finished with the thread yet, and so I brought it to the front to stop. But that's really everything. Again, I absolutely positively love stitching on this linen. believe it or not, now that I've gotten used to stitching on this, going back to the 8, was a bit hard. Like I caught myself trying to go over 2. Where did it be? So that's all my stitching stuff. Not a whole lot. I mean, a lot of amount of stuff done, but not like a lot on each different project. Because, you know, I do have technically 5 projects going on, but I've been concentrating on 3 of them. I'm trying to think. I am going to do it eventually. I've had a lot of questions about how to get the grid lines out of the fabric. I think in the next video, I'm going to do a video of the grid a piece of fabric just for a video to show how to grid the fabric. I think I'm going to set that one up and just show how easy the grid lines come out. The thing is, I don't know where I want to do it, because I generally do, when I wash my stuff, when I wash my projects, I wash it in our son's bathtub. It's the easiest to get to. It's the one that doesn't get used as much except for my son. So I, you know, clean it out really well, and I will rinse it off there and wash the, you know, hand wash my projects there. But I don't want to get my camera near a bathtub because I'm clumsy and it will end up in the bathtub, and that would be a very expensive video. I've got to figure out how. I guess I'm just gonna get a tub and put of water and put it on the table and just go with it from there and try that. I don't know how well that will work though, as far as you guys saying how easy, because you kind of have to have running water to rinse it. We'll see. As far as life goes, we had a really good month this month. We had a bout of hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is actually a viral disease. And you get these wonderful blisters on your hand, your feet, and your mouth. It started out with my son. He was teething really bad, and you know, he's teethed for about 8 months now. But he was teething really bad, and he broke out in a rash. And at first, we thought it was just, a lot of people had said their kids get rashes when they teeth. Didn't think a lot about it. He wasn't running a fever. Well, then it started itching, and we actually sent a picture to our pediatrician, and she said it was just a viral rash, no big deal. And then it got worse, and we took him to an urgent care where they told us that he had impetigo, and they put him on an antibiotic, or folliculitis or impetigo. Well, then we come back home. Well, then that night I started noticing that I had little spots on my feet, and I was like, why are my feet hurting? Oh, I've got new shoes, no big deal. So when I was cross stitching, I noticed I had blisters on my fingers, and I was like, I shouldn't have any blisters on my fingers. And I thought, oh no, I've got, you know, a rash like Connor does. I was like, but why aren't there blisters? So I started Googling. Myself, I'm a nurse, and I saw the hand, foot, mouth, but I didn't have a fever, didn't have any of the other symptoms, and thought, oh, I'm fine. I went to our nurse practitioner, and sure enough, they diagnosed me with hand, foot, mouth, and him as well. Let me tell you, that stuff is rough. I had blisters on my hands and on my feet. I couldn't walk. I was taking, like, I don't take pain medicine. I'm not, you know, one that takes medicine often. I was taking Motrin, like, counting down the hours to take more Motrin. Like, okay, I can take it again in 3 hours. Can I make it that long? It was so painful. It wasn't like a horrible, now please, I know there are people that have worse pain than that, but it was just a, I don't know, sore throat to me, ear pain, and that kind of stuff. Pain you can't really do anything about. It's worse, obviously, because you can't do anything about it. But it was just a nagging pain. It finally, like, went away just as quickly as it came. Apparently, we can't get it again unless it's a different virus. There's several viruses that cause this rash, but once you have it, you're kind of immune to it. But, like, let me tell you, don't Google anything when you're sick, because I was convinced that I was going to get viral meningitis and that I was going to die. And I know better than doing that, because, you know, I work in the medical field and I know how rare cases can happen. But, oh, I had myself scared to death every time. I was like, my head hurts. Does my neck hurt? You know, self-diagnosing. But other than that, we've had a great month. We did my son's first haircut today, actually. We get there and he was getting a little stir crazy, and I was like, this kid's going to go off the chain. We put him in this chair. He's not going to do well. the lady was awesome. It's actually the lady that still cuts my husband's hair, but she also did his first haircut when he was a little boy. She handed him that water bottle. He was squirting everybody in that salon. He loved it. I teared up a bit because was not ready for him to be big enough to have his first haircut, true haircut. He had one when he was in NICU when he was a baby, but you know, I'm talking about true, you know, salon haircut. He loved it. He did great. No trauma. He's cooler for it. He's much better. He's, you know, he's happy. I'm still kind of depressed. I did save the curls though. But just been working a lot. Work's been really busy. We've had a high patient census, which is good. But that means I get to work on my call days, which means that like my husband and I, my son, we work opposite shifts to where he doesn't have to go to daycare or anything like that. So we generally get 2 days off, really 1.5 day off together. Like, and when I work my call day, that gives us really a half day off together. So, but other than, you know, other than not seeing a lot of each other, we've been doing good. Just that's really it. Nothing big in my world. Just cross stitching and just, you know, going on about life. I hope everything's finding you guys well. And as always, thanks for watching.